Welcome back to CreatingChristianStepTeams.com, where the stepper never stops. And I'm your host, Daryl Woodard, and I'm sitting here with Juanita Simmons. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, excellent. We're here to address the question of how do you get a women's dance team started. And so Juanita is an expert. She's got some expertise in that. She's helped to choreograph and start and run the women's dance team at a church here in Columbus, Ohio. So Juanita, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit and try to answer some questions possibly that our viewers might have. So well, if I can just ask you this question, what are some of the things that you did to get the dance team going at your church?
The first thing that you want to do is prayer. Prayer is number one key in getting a dance team started. Making sure that you're praying and making sure that whatever you have in your mind is lining up with what your local body has.
Sure.
Because the dance team has to fit the body. Every dance team is unique.
Right, absolutely.
And unique in itself, so you want to make sure that it lines up with the vision of the house.
Okay.
And what you want to do from that point is write it down. Write it down, everything that you see.
Sure.
Everything that you would hope for a dance team.
Sure.
Writing those things down is key.
Sure. Well, what about, let me ask you this. Do you ever run up against people who have a heart that want to be a part of the ministry, but maybe they don't have the physical skills? Is there anything that you have to do? Like, is there a way to train somebody to do that? Or can you teach dancing, or do they have to have the ability to do it before they come to the team?
Again, that depends on the dynamics of the ministry. I've been a part of and over this team for almost 10 years. And I've come across those who are highly skilled, those who have absolutely no skill. But I believe if you have the heart and the passion of God, then it can be accomplished. If God has called you to a team, He's not going to place you there without giving you some sort of ability.
Sure.
And if you have a teachable spirit,
sure.
that is important. And yes, you can come in at any level. I've even seen my level of dance go from one place to another.
Wow.
And I'll use flags as an example.
Okay.
When I first joined the team, I was not a leader on the team, and I had never worked with flags.
Okay.
But now that's an area where I'm highly skilled.
Wow. Excellent. What are some of the challenges that you faced, encountered over the years that you were doing, over the team?
So one of the challenges could be personality challenges.
Okay.
Just being able to work with people with different personalities, and the word says that every joint supplieth, so every part of the body needs another.
Sure.
And just looking at someone's skills and their abilities and their personality and being able to mesh and become a team, that's key.
Wow. Well, how did you overcome that?
How did I overcome that? First of all, prayer.
Okay.
Prayer, getting to know your team members. Spending time with them outside of just rehearsals.
Right.
Just knowing what they like, knowing what their strengths are,
Right.
finding those things out about a person.
Sure.
So that they're comfortable, they feel comfortable, and they can open up to you.
Sure.
Because dance is not just, it's just not just an act, it's a ministry.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, why is it, Juanita? Why do you dance?
I dance because I have a passion to. I can remember as a little girl, 2 and 3 years old, spinning around the room, and it's always been in me to do. But just when I grew up and became a member of my local body, I realized that was a gift that God had placed in me.
Wow.
And anyone, whether they've had formal training or not, if they have that desire, it's there, then God put it there.
Wow.
And that is why they do it.
Sure.
The purpose of dance is to glorify God in your movement.
Right.
We glorify God with the written word,
Mm-hmm.
with the spoken word, but then what dance does is it puts the words of a song to movement.
Sure.
Dance is actually beneficial for those who are deaf. Even though they can't hear the words to the song, they can see the movement and interpret what God is saying through the movement.
What are some practical things that a person could do? Like who could they contact? You know, where should they go? What are some practical things you think a person could do, some steps to take to get that ministry going?
Okay, that also depends on the hierarchy of the church and the size of the church. A lot of times in the smaller churches, you can go right to your man of God and say, hey, this is something that's been on my heart and I'd like to put together, and he says run with it. You know, a lot of times in bigger churches, you may have to go to a visual coordinator.
Sure.
And from there, the visual coordinator reaches out to the man of God, and things are put in place that way. But it just depends on the dynamics of the ministry itself.
Sure. Okay.
But you always want to go to someone who is in authority.
Okay.
Who can make that happen.
Okay. All right. And then once it's in place and you've gotten the okay to say, okay, start the ministry, then after that, maybe talk a little bit about how you choreograph your, how do you come up with your routines and your ministry and how it flows.
Okay. One of the things that you could do, I want to kind of jump back to getting started. After you've talked to someone and they've given you the okay, what you may want to do is choreograph a couple pieces and do a solo so that the congregation can get a visual of what's to come, what's in play, what's on the way.
That's excellent. Excellent.
And as far as choreography, what I do is a lot of times I'm listening to the message that the house is teaching.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I'm selecting songs that line up with where the church is going.
Sure.
And also just praying and seeing, God, what is it that you want the people to hear? What is it that you want them to know?
Wow. Wow.
Because, you know, in the end, ministry of any kind is what thus saith the Lord.
Sure, sure. Well, Nita, I'm so excited. I'm so happy that we talked. We had a chance to share, and I believe that this was information that is very powerful and that hopefully will be propel somebody into what it is that God has called them to do. So thanks again for your time.
Thank you very much.
And there it is.